All right, is that long enough? Welcome to the stream. Let me get this moved over real quick. Get my camera up. Aha, here we are. All right. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Pixelborn client. We're actually going to start off with a little deck building. So I think that's going to be the way to do it. I actually got a comment this morning from somebody saying they wish I would go into deck building. So here we are. We're going to put together a deck. I have a vague idea of what we're going to do already. Going to go for the a ruby emerald evasive, but aggro evasive, I think would be cool. Oh, that's interesting. I saw my OBS doesn't want to do the like chat, so I have to have my like YouTube up and have it silenced so I can see the chat. It's doing it's trying to do closed captions in real time. That's crazy. Closed captions in real time. Holy crap. Yeah. So let's jump into it. We're gonna do a little deck building. I'll probably leave the stream on the YouTube channel for some time so people can come back and watch it. Yeah, so like I said, the goal here is gonna be to make a ruby emerald evasive aggro deck. So the very first thing I'm gonna do, the way I build the decks is pretty straightforward, if I'm being totally honest with you. I kind of come up with a vague idea, and then I go through and I just start grabbing all of the stuff in maximum quantities, 4 ofs, for the particular deck. This guy's got evasive, we want that. Where's my other evasive? Pongo, here we go. And it's after I have something like 160 cards in the deck that I start cutting it down. It gets a little ridiculous. Let's see. So that's going to be it for the evasive in here. Aggro strategy. I definitely want the Aladdin, because the Aladdins will take out our opponent's lore in case they start to pull ahead. Gaston's good for early removal, but he's not good for questing, so he's not very aggro in that sense. Mini's pretty good. 1/3, turn 1 play, and can be inked. I'll just grab a handful of Mini Mouse real quick. The captions hate your accent. I'm sorry about that, Lou. We're gonna grab Sergeant Tibbs just for the easy inkable. And of course we gotta grab all the removal because Ruby's the control color, so why not? Oh, Tigger. I forgot about Tigger. That is a lot of cards. We won't be running that many. We'll get it back down to close between somewhere between 60 and 70. I've actually been finding that like 65, 67 is the magic number, because there are decks that want to draw a lot of cards. They want to go for a long game, and sometimes those long games end in somebody drawing their entire deck. So it's actually beneficial to have more cards than the minimum requirement of 60. I mean, Maui's really good. I don't know if we're going to run Maui. Maleficent's also good, but that's really late game. I don't know if we want to be playing towards that kind of late game. Donald Duck's a good 2-drop. Another good 2-drop is LeFou. Where are you, LeFou? Yeah, so we're already at 60 cards and we're still in red. We haven't even looked at the other ones yet. All this characters exerted, opposing characters with evasive gain reckless. While this character is exerted, so tapped, opposing characters with evasive gain reckless. Wow, I didn't realize that. Captain Hook's got a really good anti-evasive ability. Of course, they all just attack Captain Hook, but it's a good board clear. Jeez. That's the first time you've tried to see the closed captions work real time? It's the first time I've seen it. What's up, Groundhog? New to TCG and thought, what better way to get into it than starting with Lorcana? What ink combo is best for noobs? If you're kind of really new to it, I don't know. That's a tough question. Lorcana's a weird mixture of, in my opinion, it's a weird mixture of Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Pokemon. Those are the games that I'm most familiar with that I get a ton of vibes from with this game. And depending on which one you're coming from, it's going to be a different experience because this draws on different elements. Like in Magic, you attack your opponent and then they block with their creatures. So they get to choose what gets in the way if they want to let anything get in the way at all. Yu-Gi-Oh! You take your characters and you pick which characters of theirs you want to fight. You don't get to just attack your opponent unless they have no characters. So that's right there. That's a big difference. So this gets the Yu-Gi-Oh! Sense in that I get to pick what I'm attacking. But I only get to attack tapped creatures. Versus where Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't matter for their attack position or defense position. They're untapped or tapped. You can attack them either way, I believe, if I remember correctly. And then also, if you're like coming from different like Magic, you're attacking them, trying to get their points down. Lorcana, you're trying to build your points up. Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of crossover across all the games. Let's look at Emerald real quick. Emerald's gonna be our really aggressive color. So a lot of this red that we picked, Pongo Mini, or not Pongo, LeFou Mini, Donald Duck, those guys will probably come out because green's gonna be much more aggressive. Like we want the Flins. We want the Cheshire Cats. And of course I want to get all my evasive. So here's the Genie. Genie's got evasive on him. Who else has evasive? Cusco doesn't have evasive, but Cusco is freaking strong. Cusco's broken. Peter Pan and Tink both have evasive. I'm not huge fans of them. I really like the evasive ability, but man, Peter Pan just dies to anything in gray and red. Takes care of Peter Pan. Also takes care of Tinkerbell, because most of the gray removal also will take out Tinkerbell. You change the closed captioning? I don't bother. I don't even look at it. Suppose your name Lou with an O. Yeah. The technicality in this is complex. Yeah, it's a bit complex. It's only really complex, I think, if you're familiar with other TCGs. Because it's really hard, at least for me, it's really hard to not look at this and think, oh, this game is similar to that game. Oh, it's also similar to this other game. I struggle with that a lot. Familiar with MTG? Okay. Yeah, so MTG, my big thing that it's a hurdle that I'm starting to get over. I actually talk about it in tomorrow's video, which I recorded this morning. The big thing between Lorcana and Magic, not to get away from the deck building, but the big thing is Magic, you're trying to take them from 20 to 0, which means attacking them. And your opponents can play creatures or spells to stop your guys from getting in. Lorcana's the other way. We're trying to go from 0 to 20 separate from our opponent. I'm not trying to get my opponent to 20. I'm trying to get myself to 20. And so this early game aggro, that you get yourself to 15, 16, 17, you get to a point in the game where it's, I play a creature, and if you don't deal with it immediately, you lose the game. Whereas in Magic, if you get your opponent down to like 1, 2, or 3 life, goal being 0, of course, I can't just play a creature and be like, all right, deal with it or you die. That doesn't happen. You're just like, well, I got 16 creatures in play, so you're not getting through. Like, I don't have to deal with your creature. So that's the biggest difference I've come across in this, is the how to deal with your early game and your late game. It's almost backwards from Magic. So it's been a little bit of a struggle. All right, I'm at 92 cards. Not seeing a ton here that I really want, that I feel like I'm missing out on. How is my ratio for 16 non-inkables? So that's definitely going to be a target. The only thing I wish I could change about this is I can't make this side panel bigger. And that's, for me, that's the most awful part about this deck builder. I'm done with this. I don't need this part anymore. Can I get rid of this? No, not really. Yeah, I'm done with this part. I just need this part. Now, most of my non-inkables are going to be removal. Uh-oh. I am. My father-in-law's like, hey, are you busy? Which means he probably needs a ride somewhere. His car's in the shop. Like, I am busy. See, that's the downside too. So we grabbed all the great ones. We want to keep all the Cuscos. Maybe not all the genies. Cut back on that. And then of course all of our removal. So it's gonna be really tough. We're gonna struggle. There's no card draw in these colors either. Yeah, there's no card draw in these colors. Is there? I mean, there's a little bit in Mad Hatter, but that requires the help of our opponent. Yeah, I don't see any. No card draw. Brutal. Yeah, so we're going to want to have really good curves for this then. Trying to teach you the MLP TLC. I don't know what that is. What is that, Lou? Just reading Douglas's message here. Simple forms of Pokemon. Most of Pokemon's pretty simple. Oh, My Little Pony. Interesting. Undertale, but with cards. I don't know what Undertale is. Alright, I think we're just in cutting. We're not going to have any card draw, so that's something to keep in mind. Our curve is super high. Since there's going to be no card draw, I don't want to have a really high curve. Go down to 2 Mickeys, go down to 3 Aladdins. Aladdin can shift on turn 5, so he's not as crazy. Get rid of all of the Tiggers. Cut down on the Mother Gothel. Might remove her entirely, but I do like her protection ability. Get her down and exerted, and then all of our sudden opponents can't quest until they deal with her. She's got a big butt. Goofy, Mad Hatter, Cusco, like them all. The curve is very high. I'm going to cut down 1 Cusco. It's probably not my favorite move right here, but it's non-inkable. Okay, don't need the Minnie Mouse. Don't need the Sergeant Tibbs. There we go. We're already down to 65 cards. We're tightening the grip here. No card draw. That's the thing I'm trying to keep in mind. No card draw. Don't need that many shields. Down to 62. How do I not know what Undertale is? I just don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Ruby, how's it going? Welcome. Let me respond to my father-in-law real quick. Probably doesn't know what Five Nights at Freddy is, Lou. I know exactly what Five Nights at Freddy is. I just haven't played it because I don't do scary games. I don't do scary anything. Alright, still, curve is very high. What can I play to solve that problem? Got a high curve. Got a high curve and no card draw. And there's no card draw in these colors. Card draw is the hardest part. You basically have to just hope for like, this is the best hand and just be able to play it. I do have a fear that one day I'm going to do a deck build like this. I hardly ever reference my other older decks, and I'm just going to rebuild the exact deck I've played before. Like, yeah, this is a great deck. Like, oh, I played it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I do like this beast. No card draw. That's what I'm looking for, those. Card draw, card draw, card draw. It just does not exist. Oh, the theory videos. Yeah, I watched all the oh, what's that theory channel called? Well, now I feel bad because it's a huge channel. Film theory, and game theory. Yeah, watch those. Reckless. I mean, Jasper's still good. How much do I got in the way of my? Let's see, 4 evasive, 8 evasive, 12, 16, 18 of my creatures are evasive. So just under a third of the deck is evasive. Is there anything? I mean, apart from Tigger, Tigger's expensive. Is there anything else that I don't got that has evasive? Just go heavy on it. You know, ideally, there's so much removal in the format right now. I don't expect this deck to perform well. It's just gonna get blown up. Every time you play a card, it's just gonna get removed. Dinner Bell will be great too. Yeah, Dinner Bell is gonna be pretty cool, but that's in red, isn't it? Isn't Dinner Bell in red? That's not technically available yet. I could play it on the client, but I have to play in another. I have to play in another format, and I want to stay in ranked. Yeah, Dinner Bell is gonna be nice. Red will finally This is next set. This isn't supposed to drop till December, I believe. So we still got a couple months of this one and only set. I've seen this Poison Apple getting some play, but it's probably not for this deck. I don't know. All right, maybe we run this deck, see how it feels, and then decide to make changes based after that. We'll just call this RG evasive test, and we'll keep it private. Save. All right, now I got to export. All right, now I gotta swap us over. Make sure this goes to the right one. There we go. Import decks. The only thing I don't like about the client is I can't rearrange my decks. I literally have to delete decks to move them around. So now I want to play this deck. It's going to be at the bottom of the list every time we play. Are there any red-blue decks out there? I don't feel like I've ever seen them. There are. My most viewed video, actually, for Lorcana is a red-blue deck. Yeah, it's not around here anymore. I deleted it to make room for stuff. Yeah. Check it out. It's got something like 3,000 views on it. It's my biggest Lorcana video. It's pretty cool. I actually played against one this morning, a red blue deck. Yeah. Tomorrow's video is going to be absolutely insane. I played this deck right here, fastest win, so a little bit of a spoiler, and it just dominated. I had most of these losses you can see in this little digit right here are from the testing period before I played it for the video. All the wins are... It's fast. It is a fast, aggressive deck. All right, let's see if we can't get either top end of silver or right into gold today. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen with this deck. The meta's not the meta's not ready for this. Don't recognize the name. Heard songs from Toby Fox, the maker of Undertale. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't sound familiar. All right. So going first is awesome. Aggression is key. I'm pretty sure aggression is key. All right, not gonna get to the 6-drop anytime soon. And I also want to get rid of our non-inkables. 2, 3. No 4s. 5, 5. Aha, we got a 4. We got curve fillers. Oh, and we got evasive curve fillers too. Nice. All right, we're not going to get to Mickey Mouse anytime soon. Oh boy. Matt Pat. Yeah, that's his name. Matt Pat. All right. Are we playing against the Ruby Amethyst deck? I would have really liked a different inkable there. I am going to favor Peter Pan, I think. So I'm going to get my 2-drop. I'm going to try to be aggressive. It's always nervous when you just put the deck together and you're running out because you're like, oh, I'm guaranteed to lose some rank here for a little bit. See, here's our red-blue deck. What are the odds? Red-blue, right there. Sorry, Flynn. We're going evasive. That's the point of the deck. I want to see, we want to try to make that work. We want to try to be evasive. Grandma Tall is gonna have a hard time. I need to draw something good. Okay, well, second goof's not bad. It's inkable. The evasive doesn't stick, so I'm not going to quest with him. I'm just going to quest with regular Peter Pan here. Oh wait, Grandma Talla can't take advantage and ramp ahead. All right, LeFou is definitely going to trade there. Man, they're ramping hard right now. The board wipe is on the way. Well, if the board wipe is on the way, man, we're getting all of our goofs. Then I'm not going to trade. Does this have to be just banished in general? I'm not going to attack. I'm expecting the board wipe. 6 into 7 on red? Yeah, I'm expecting the board wipe. Yep, they're going to quest for everything. And then we get the board wipe. Called it. Ah, so smart. Now we're going to get targeted removal. So our best bet here is a Cusco. Because the Cusco's got ward. AKA hexproof. Can't be targeted. Oh, I got the combo. I got the Wombo combo. Ha! Ha ha ha! You can't take out Cusco now. His biggest weakness. Oh, we dodged the Hades. His biggest weakness is that he can be attacked and defeated. I don't need to bounce anything. All right. The only problem is committing to the board. I can't afford this now. I think I'm gonna dump this card just so I can have the ability to play stuff and still. Let's see. They got 4. We're on 5, but they're gonna go to 10. I think we win the race. If not, we can always attack. We also have Genie to bounce stuff. Ooh, Maleficent. Dang, that was brutal. That's gonna put us way off curve. Takes me to 8, and I still don't have enough to pay for this and play a Genie. Man, what do I do? I can't just not interact with them. Double dang. We had really good control. I think the mistake was I played the creature and I gave up a turn of questing and should have just inked it. Should have just inked it. Because none of these are particularly great bounce targets. If I bounce the Hades or the Maleficent, Genie dies because they just replay it and get to kill a thing. And if I bounce Aladdin, we lose a lore. Bounce Mickey Mouse, I mean, it's fine. They get a ramp a little, but alternatively, I can go with Cusco, play Aladdin. Cusco could attack. It's just not strong enough. I don't think there's a way out of this. It's not strong enough. They have really large butts, and our deck's not really designed for that. We do have removal, but we don't have removal. I mean, I feel like we should attack. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. Opponent goes to 15 here. You guys are all talking about some musician I have no idea about. Dang! Top deck and champion over there. Well, that was fun. Gotta play a couple more games to really identify some weaknesses, though. It's hard to suggest changes when you play one game. See, they're on +8, so I have to get them 4 points down. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I have to get them 4 points down. That's 2 of the big guys. I don't have the attack power or the bounce power. Alright, cool. Game over. We're gonna lose my silver! I worked so hard for it. Just to test this deck. Now we're just waiting for an opponent. Going second sucks. Just like in Magic, going second is a massive disadvantage. Okay, I don't need that many of those. Where's my curve? Got too many 2s, but I got a 3, 4, 5. I think I keep them just as potential inkables. Definitely some kind of curve going on here. I've been trying to do this thing. I don't do it very well. Whatever I ink, I try to stay on that color for the first couple of turns. So, so my opponent doesn't know what my second color is. But I'm really awful at it. Maybe I should have held Donald. I'm just thinking about getting my invasive creatures down. My opponent is ramping really aggressively. Oh, so same opponent. Blaster Dark 66, same opponent. So we know their other color's red. Yeah, they are ramping aggressively. Probably got Maleficent in hand. Yeah, you gotta be careful if you queue up too quickly. The matchmaking system's not that great. It just puts you against the same people you just played. I'm concerned about a board wipe. I think Maleficent's the thing to watch out for, but I am concerned for a board wipe. Also, Hades is a thing. They do have Hades. You be aggressive, I be aggressive. Yeah, so sometimes that's how it works out too. Is you're trying to read your opponent's play style. Yeah, if you let your opponent get aggressive and you're not doing anything to keep up with it, you fall way behind. This is the sort of game where if I'm on 18 and you're on 3, almost no chance you win. Sometimes you do. I pulled out a victory. I was 18-0 and I still won. But once you're in that position, it's not likely. All right, so Bell's going to quest for 5 on their turn. So I need to be able to deal with it. Thinking of Mother Gothel because then they have to attack into it. But they might just play Big Maleficent. Right, they're going to draw a card, they're going to ink a card, they're going to play Big Maleficent the Dragon, destroy Mother Gothel, and still get to quest, and I have nothing to take out Belle. That's what's going to happen. Not that I can play her this turn, but that's what's going to happen. I mean, Goof's got decent attack power. Is that really what I'm looking for? Is just attack power then? I think so. All evasive, baby. Last time I played an evasive deck like this, a couple weeks ago, it was phenomenal. I mean, it was a rock star deck. Okay. But now we gotta survive. They're gonna gain 7 this round, and they can gain 9 next round. That only brings them up to 18. Mother Gothel could be the exact card we need. Alternatively, we could just attack and take out Belle. Which I think is the smart play. It's taking him off of 5 lore every turn. It does cost us 4 lore to get him off of that. But Mother Gothel's going to stop them from questing. Hopefully they don't top deck the board wipe. But you know they're going to top deck the board wipe. There's the card draw. Surely you get to play another one. Oh, they're gonna try to be aggressive. Well, that's all they can be aggressive towards. They will be able to take out Mother Gothel though, between Robin Hood and both the Mickeys. There's our board wipe, but we don't need that. Quest with everything, and now they have to take out Mother Gothel or they can't quest. I also have a Cusco here. The Mother Gothel's nice. It ties them up. They got Global Ward, which is really cool. That might be one of my favorite cards in the entire game. Get two Auroras out and get the Global Ward protection. One of the first Magic decks I ever played that was relatively competitive was a white-blue Drog Skull Captain Spirit deck because they gave all other spirits hexproof, but not themselves. So you get two of them down, and all of a sudden your board can't be touched. It's one of my favorite plays. And we snuck out a victory. Did anything feel weak? Did anything feel weak? Come on, open it. I also don't like this particular system for the deck building in the client. I really want Disney to come out with their own client. My goodness, that would be amazing. All right, so let's see. I'm not liking our 2-drops, Donald Duck and LeFou. Neither of them feel great. What else is in my 2-drops that'd be nice? Possibly even 1-drops. The 3 toughness is nice. I think a Duke of Wesselton. Just because he's a 1-drop potential. It's also great to ink. You draw him later in the game, you just ink him. LeFou has a great untap ability. I guess the deck is super evasive though. The only card that really cares about being untapped is Cusco. So yeah, LeFou's very weak in this deck. Are you in school right now? Your mom's gonna be mad. This is the worst ability. When you play this character, you may banish chosen character named Teka. There's only one Teka in the whole game, and hardly anybody's running it. I guess there's 2. Never mind. There's the burning one. I forgot about the burning one. Still, nobody's running this one either. Iago might be nice too. My 4s are pretty full. I'd have to give up some more expensive cards, my top end stuff. Alright, I think the change is going to be obvious here. I think it's going to be Duke of Wesselton in place of LeFou. Purely because LeFou's ability is not highly synergistic with an evasive deck. Man, having a turn 1 play may occasionally be good. Just a minor change. That's true. Big Aladdin likes LeFou. We are running 2 of the shields, though. Yeah, so we got Cusco and Big Aladdin. So you're right. I forgot about Big Aladdin. Mostly because we haven't seen him in our 2 games yet. Forgot he existed. Go on second. Going second's the same as saying, hey, I choose to lose. There's our turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. I'm going to get rid of the be prepared. I do plan on curving. Turn 5. Nice. I got a lot in the 4 drop. Pongo is better than... Pongo's the same as Tink. Okay. Duke will trade with Captain Hook. That's fine. Steel. The only problem with Steel here is they can effectively just remove all of the stuff. Tink is slightly better because Tink has an ability. But if I give up Tink and show the Duke, then they're going to see me as on green. And they won't know about the red. I don't know how valuable that is. An evasive ward deck. See, ward is... Green has a couple of ward cards, but blue has the best ward combination. The double Aurora for the mass ward effect. But blue doesn't do a evasive. I know, I've looked into it too. What's up, Connor? I've looked into it. It's definitely one I'd like to see. I'm curious if, like Magic, if the colors are going to have a sort of identity. Like right now, red has the identity of removal, board wipes. Purple has the identity of card draw. I'm curious. Blue has the identity of ramping. I'm curious when the next set comes out if that will stay true or if it's just going to constantly just be changing, where the colors are wildly meaningless. Okay, I gotta ink another thing. Goofs are better than Pongo. I am nervous I'm gonna get stuck on 4 and not be able to play my 5s. I will quest here because Duke will trade with Captain Hook regardless of his challenger ability. And I am perfectly okay with that. My opponent might not think it's the most valuable thing right now until they realize that we're very evasive. And then they're going to be like, oh, I should have taken this trade earlier. So hopefully we can squeeze out a couple turns where they're thinking Duke's not a good trade. When in reality is one of the only trades. Lorcano, I like his name. Or her name. Or their name. Interesting. It was worth removal from the hand over a trade on the board. Okay, we're going heavy on the evasive. Fortunately, I don't got my Peter Pan. Donald Duck will still trade with Captain Hook, so it's kind of the same position as Duke was. It's a trade. And they don't realize that we're going to be super evasive yet. Built a fun little Ruby Steel challenge deck. Basically just put all the cards, get lore, bonuses from banishing stuff like Tink, Aladdin. Why is on the opponent tapping stuff, which they could just do nothing. Yeah. Anything where you have to rely on your opponent to do a thing is generally bad, especially when you're playing competitively, because your opponent, think about if your opponent's wise enough to be like, oh, this could lead to a bad thing, and they're savvy to it, actually competitive, they won't do it, which is really bad for you. Yeah, doing anything that relies on having your opponent do a thing, generally a bad strategy. And unless you got a great way to make them do it, then that's different. That's how I feel about like Gaston as well. 4-2, trades really well, but then your opponent just doesn't tap their creatures, and then you just got this big boy on the field. I mean, he's still serving a role, it's just not a big role, right? He's stopping your opponent from questing when they could be questing. Not sure what my opponent's digging for. But I'll take this opportunity to get ahead on lore. That's gonna get goof. Yep. See, that's it's a big target, got lots of lore, you're like, Genie's great. And then it's not. Thankfully they ramped us. I might be able to just get an Aladdin down. I might bounce their Tinkerbell though. Probably will if I don't get an Inkable. Ooh, but I want to keep that Inkable. That's such a good Inkable. I'm gonna keep racing here. Yeah, that guy's got evasive. He's gonna demand some removal. Five isn't impossible. I've seen Steel do 5 damage to multiple creatures in a turn all at once. Between Big Tank and Grab Your Swords. So it's like, he can deal with this. But he's gonna have struggle. He's gonna need another Hades. There's the Grab Your Sword. Alright, that deals with the Mickey Mouse. They sung it. I still have the glitch. They didn't spend their ink on it. Is anybody else having that issue where this isn't tracking correctly? Okay, we gotta be careful. During their turn, Robin Hood has evasive. Think these both go for 2, so we're gonna go to 16, and then we're gonna go to, unless they got removal, which they might, 16 to 18 to lethal. I think we just quest. That's what I'm. This is one of those times where it's just, we're so close to the finish line. We're reaching a point where it doesn't matter what my opponent does. They need to pull out all of the stops and have all of the answers in exactly the right order with enough ink to do it. Good, I'm not the only one with the glitch. That makes me feel better. We still have lethal on board. They still have to take out a character. I still got 4 lore that I can go for. 2 on Tink, 2 on Aladdin. That'll bring me to 20. Game will be over. Ink is Lorcana's version of Magic the Gathering's mana. So instead of playing lands and tapping lands, I'm inking cards, playing them as mana, and then tapping them every turn to pay for stuff. It's exactly the same thing. The only difference is in this game, your lands are playable cards and not just lands. So a slight advantage, but you have to make choices about giving up. Oh, this is a really great playable card. I'm going to put it away and never get to see it again. But yeah, it's the resource. It's how you pay for stuff. You said you played a little bit of Pokemon, so it's like putting energy on your Pokemon so they can do their abilities, right? Some attacks need 1 energy, some need 3, a couple need 4, I think. So it's the same as putting 1 energy every turn onto it to pay for their ability to do stuff every turn. So very similar. So far, 2 games up. I like the Duke trade out. It pulled a removal card out of our opponent's hand, funny enough. They were too scared to trade their Captain Hook for it. Yeah, so inking, that's exactly it. It's Magic's mana, it's Pokemon's energy. And that's it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't have a... Yu-Gi-Oh's cost is sacrificing creatures, but yeah, that's quite a bit different. So yeah, I do have a turn 1 play. It's a bad turn 1 play, especially if we're against Steel and they want to play a Beast. I'm not going to keep a non-inkable there. This is just too big to play. I got my turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, and a definite inkable Flynn unless something better comes up. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of the shield. It's too early for the shield. The only downside is the deck is thick enough that getting rid of the shield here, I might not see the shield again. Dang. Oh, and I got another non-inkable. This is gonna be a bad game. Uh-oh. Amber! Amber! I could have really used a turn 1 play here. Duke, where are you? Do you think it makes sense to make the ink pool not visible to either player? Like once you or your opponent inks something, it's gone forever and you can't never look at it. I don't know if that's the actual rules. I had the rule book on my table here somewhere. The rules don't say you can't look at the inkwell, but there are some cards like Mickey Mouse that just say take the top card and put it into your inkwell. It doesn't say anything about you being allowed to look at the card. So I don't know. I think you should be allowed to look at it at all times. Because I only say that because every other time, wow, they got all of the Lilos. That's obnoxious. Hold on. Now I gotta get competitive here. They got all of the Lilos. Do we even stand a chance against this? Flint's gonna be doing a lot of attacking. The rules say you can't look. Where's my rule book at? Hold on. I'm pretty sure it doesn't say squat about looking in your inkwell. Well, that's a game map. That's not the rules. I'm gonna time out. I have to play. Okay, still not my turn. Still not my turn. We're fine. No, it's my turn now. It's my turn now. I'm gonna be horribly out of focus. Have to attack. There's no way. We've lost this game. This game has gone horribly wrong. How do you beat 3 Lilos in a row like that? With a lot of luck. I keep finding my game boards. Ah. Rules. Anyway, to make my point again, the reason why I think you should still be allowed to look at the inkwell is because you have to reveal your card to your opponent every time. So if your opponent's taking notes, they already know every card in there except what comes off of Mickey Mouse or One Jump Ahead. So like those two like minor little exceptions, I don't know if those particular cards existing are enough to make an exception. Man, we are so far behind. Our only real hope here is that our opponent gets basically stops dead in their tracks, has nothing to play, and we can just deal with the board. Released in recent tournament rules was an answer to a Twitter question. Tournaments don't let you keep track of notes. Every TCG tournament out there lets you take notes. Why would Lorcana be different? Every card's revealed to you. I got the rules. They're looking for stuff. Let's say your inkwell. Your inkwell is where you'll put your ink cards face down. You'll use the cards in your inkwell to pay the cost of cards you play from your hand. You may put a card from your hand onto your inkwell once each turn. The card you choose must have the inkwell icon around its cost. Is it my turn? Let me just pause right there and just be aggressive. Be aggressive. I didn't see anything my opponent did. I gotta play something that can attack, so it's gotta be Tink, right? Obviously, it can't attack this turn, but eventually it will attack. I'll give you evasive. It doesn't matter. I will discard the Cheshire Cat because I need things that can attack. We are so far behind. The more ink cards you have, the more you'll be able to do to put the card in your inkwell. Show the card to your opponents, and then put it face down into your inkwell as ink. Every card in your inkwell represents one ink, no matter what's on the front. Choose wisely. Cards put into your inkwell stay there for the rest of the game. Once you put a card in your inkwell, nothing on the front matters, including its cost and ink type. It's simply ink. That is the end of the rules about the inkwell. It does say show them to everyone. And then put it face down. Doesn't say anything about not being able to not put it. I got the Dragonfire, we're not dead. I got the Dragonfire, we're not dead. We're not doing great, but we're not dead. Our opponent definitely has us in the position of, hey, deal with every creature I play every turn, or lose. And we're not really in that position to deal with that. All right, we're gonna pass. And now I'm gonna catch up with chat. My goodness. Just a weird game design mechanic feels like it'd be useful to be able to track even to remember your own inked cards. I 100% would track it. If a judge yelled at me, I would be petty enough to be like, all right, I quit. Your rules are the worst and it's not worth playing the game. I would tell him that. But I'm a petty little man. Dang it! I got Genie. I got Genie! I got Genie, and then I got an Aladdin to keep him off of... We have to answer a card every turn! We're gonna have to answer that again. We got Aladdin to take him down, so it's... But they have been holding on to their Stitch, so it's not good enough. I'm gonna need something better off the top. Another piece, a true piece of removal. It's not the only other downside of those cards. Don't forget, it's the huge downside is you don't know what you're putting into your inkwell. Not that you can't find out after the fact. I'm saying you should be able to find out, but you don't know beforehand. Like, oh, is this the card I need? Well, I'm going to put it into the inkwell and find out if I just threw away the card I needed. That's not going to be enough because of Stitch. That's brutal. They held onto their Stitch like good boys. Good job, opponent. You played wise with your Stitch. They just got in that position where if you can't deal with their creatures every turn, they win. Not knowing is what being... Again, I think the disadvantage is you don't know what you're giving up. It could be the Mickey Mouse you're looking for. It could be the big Aladdin you need. And oh no, you just threw it in. You just threw it in your inkwell because you didn't know what it was. I think that's the downside. A hard rule on... There's no organized play around me anyway, which is a big bummer. But I 1000% would keep track of notes. I would have a notepad keeping track of where my lore is, my opponent's lore. I'd be, no dice. I don't trust dice. Those get knocked over. So I'd be keeping track of that. Every time they played something, I'd write the name down. And if anybody asked me, I'd be like, oh, these are just cards I want to buy in the future. Just a list of future shop stuff. I got way too many 3-drops. Holy crap. I got the big Aladdin though. Ooh. You guys are getting me fired up. Tournament rules are stupid. See, that's not fair, though. Think about that for a second. That's not fair. Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't let you take notes either, except for life totals. what happens if you're somebody that has a very poor memory and you're going against somebody with a photographic memory? They just remember everything. Oh, you played 49 cards ago. Here's this thing. Like, that's a massive advantage. And those are things outside of your control. Like, you're not in control if you have a photographic memory or not. Fireball. I don't know what specifica about MD and OJA are. You can't look and no player may check ink while during game. It's all over the internet right now, but I want to find where it says it because it's why I don't run those cards. I do got a turn 2 play now. Fantastic. I'm so focused on chat right now. I'm completely ignoring my gameplay. It's costing me everything. Have required pen and paper for lore tracking. That makes sense because it's so easy. Like the game boards they come with and the little pips for tracking. Like I would use dice to track damage on my guys for sure. Cause, you know, it doesn't get usually higher than a D6. There's very few cards higher than 6 toughness. Or was it willpower in this? What's the attack one on this? Attack and defense, man. I forget what they're called. Oh, we got the shield and the Aladdin. Looking at a turn. It's got to be a turn 3 Aladdin, turn 4 Tink, turn 5. Or do we go Aladdin and then Peter Pan into shield on 4? Because turn 5 is always going to be we're tapped down, right? We're not going to be able to pay to untap it. I'm going to give up the Peter Pan and go for my turn 3, my turn 4 play. I am comfortable with them attacking Flynn. I don't mind them discarding a card. I know poor memory's not the issue in Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like the first real game that I played, like actually played the card game. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is broken AF. Oh my god, that is the most bonkers game. I thought Magic was... I got into Magic because I heard of the turn 0 wins, turn 1 wins. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Hell, almost every Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck is like, oh no, I went on turn 1. Almost all of them. It's ridiculous. That was a good play. I should have thought about Big Tink. I'm too focused on chat. Who would have thought chat's gonna cost me games? That's funny. All right. Well, Big Aladdin's not coming down for a while. I instantly don't like my hand. All of a sudden, my hand sucks. Pretty much everyone in Yu-Gi-Oh! Hates the tournament policies, specifically the time rules and note-taking. Really. It's so... Because in Magic the Gathering, that's not an issue. And that's like, in my opinion, Magic is king of TCGs. It is the top dog game. It has its own issues, but Magic is... When it comes to strategy and planning, nothing is better than Magic. This game's missing elements I wish it had for Magic. I'm hoping future sets introduce... Magic's biggest strength is probably every set they've established a pattern where they can just... Oh, we're going to have a new ability this time around, and this new ability does this thing to the game. So they can literally change how the game... Oh. They could change how they... I gotta select my opponent's stuff, that's fine. They can change how the game plays every single set. You know, new cards will do that to some extent, but new cards with brand new abilities, new mechanics every set, yeah, the game changes all the time. I am horribly not paying attention to this game. You guys got me all thinking and stuff. It hurts. Hurts my brain. You got me thinking. We're not winning this race. All right, I think it's safe to say the Ruby Emerald evasive deck has been thoroughly understood and defeated in the meta. I got about a 50-50 win rate with it by accident. I mean, we just lose here. We have to defeat the Simba at the very least. I'll keep him off of victory. It's not going to get us any closer to victory. I don't have haste on Aladdin, so we can't count on that for anything. See, they go to 19, and then I effectively have to defeat every single character they play for the rest of the game. See how potent that is? Once your opponent reaches a certain point, if you can't deal with every single character every single turn, you lose. There's no way around it. Which, in my opinion, makes the aggro decks the strongest decks in this game. The control deck is good, but it's so easy for it to just trip up. All right, let my opponent take the victory. It's a little reassuring to hear that though. Pretty much everyone in Yu-Gi-Oh hates the tournament policies. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure like that's just not. I've played in 4 Magic tournaments, not counting my like local game store, which doesn't exist anymore. I'm in one of the top 10 cities of biggest growth in the United States. Every single year for like the last decade, where this city's always in the top 10. Why are they attacking me? Why are they not just questing? Just quest, opponent, you rude person. I tried to gracefully give you the victory here. All right, you guys want to take a sneak peek at tomorrow's video? I'm tired of my evasive deck. It's thoroughly quenched in the meta right now. Don't need the Hades. Don't need you. Don't need you quite yet. Got a 1. I need a 2. I need a 2 drop. Fill my curve. Well, I got all the Lilos. It's not going to be good enough. Watch my opponent. My opponent is going to be like, I got to turn 1 aggressive play. It's going to be Captain Hook. I also wish I could reorganize my hand. I can't grab my cards and drag them. Going to a local game would be freaking awesome. They just don't have them in my area anymore for me. But for you guys, definitely go to play local. There's something way better about being able to play with actual people. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna play a game. They're gonna beat you. 9 times out of 10, your opponent, at least in my experience with Magic, the Magic community, they're awesome enough to be like, oh hey, you did the thing. It was cool. You should have done it this way. Like they're gonna give you advice. You're gonna play a lot better. Do I just double drop Lilos here? They're not gonna. Huh. think I double dropped Lilos here. I'm gonna give up my 5 drop because I just drew a Cusco. See if I can make my opponent rage quit. I wanted to rage quit when I got played 3 Lilos against me. Main issue was with time rules that decks nowadays spend about 10 to 15 minutes a turn finishing a game 1 of 3 game matches and only have like 20 minutes left. Yeah, that could be a notch. I've seen a few clips like scrolling through TikTok and stuff. Like watching, oh, our turn 3's a Cusco. Our turn 3's a Cusco. Freaking love this deck, man. You thought that was brutal. 3 Lilos. Check out 3 Lilos and a Cusco on turn 3, baby. Yeah, watching some of the like the TikTok videos like of the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and it's just so crazy to be like, man, I play this card, which gets this card out, which lets me do this thing, and then it's gonna allow me to, you know, turn these sideways, and then all of a sudden a volcano shall erupt from between us, and then you lose. There goes all the Lilos. We knew some kind of board wipe was coming. Especially with steel. Had a round to go to draw last Saturday because the opponent took forever. At one point they did something and I was like, you could have won next turn. And then 3 turns later. That's always brutal. Like, I come across that occasionally in the games here where it's just like, one in particular was on camera, which was really nice. With like, oh man, I'm totally dead. They just quest and the game is over. And then they're like, I'm going to attack you. I'm like, oh, okay. And I can't remember if I won that game. I feel like I won that game. Because they totally had me beat and then they didn't. Speaking of timers, I think never get too cocky. No, they're in steel. If they have board wipes, running out all 3 Lilos, it was guaranteed to be wiped for sure. Get too cocky. I was just excited to have 3 Lilos, especially because one of our opponents played that against us. Are you gonna double swords me? They're gonna double swords me. Man, everyone and their mother is texting me today. Hades for the couscous. Could have grabbed the Lilo, but that's kind of pointless. I get the couscous. We're totally gonna lose this game, by the way. I'm still too focused on the chat. I probably would have, if I was playing, like making a video, I probably would have played 2 Lilos and held on to the 3rd. Or even made a turn 2 play Flynn and held on to the other Lilos after the fact. It's usually once you've exhausted your opponent's hand a bit, that's when you want to start being a bit more aggressive. Are we going to see a whole new world? Just in case we see a whole new world. This deck, I've come across a few of them now where the Steel Song has been playing a whole new world. Hot draws a lot because of time limits. Their best bet is to stall game 1 and win right at the end of the time. Yeah, I could see that being a thing. I like the time limit in this game. You know, that literally counts down. The only thing I wish this didn't do, I wish it did it like Magic, where once you start making plays, the timer pauses. So if you're counting down 10, 9, 8, you make a play, it's paused at 8, and then as soon as you're done, 7, 6, until you make another play. Like, I like that Magic does that. All right, so Tink's gonna trade with Cusco. Gotta deal with this. May as well play it, right? It's either gonna remove removal from their hand or it's gonna force them to attack it. In which case they're not questing. Wait till you see tomorrow's video, Kyle. I've had some pretty bonkers hands with this deck this morning. Spoilers, my fastest game victory with this deck was 1.5 minutes. This deck can go fast. My second and third fastest games were 3 minutes apiece. This right here could possibly be tied for one of the longest games I've ever played with this deck. Yeah, being able to get Lilo into Simba, okay, that's going to be brutal. Lilo into Simba, turn 1, turn 2, is incredibly strong. That's a very hard combo to beat. Stun when your Yu-Gi-Oh games go past turn 3. Turn 1, set up an unbreakable board. Turn 2. Turn 2, either break the board or I'm guessing forfeit. Turn 3, break the board or forfeit. That's funny. Going second again? What is this nasty nonsense? I'm going to go for the Simba. I'm going to go for the Simba so hard. Hey, I got the Simba. Oh, and I got the turn 3 Cusco. Turn 1 Lilo, turn 2 Simba, turn 3 Cusco. Turn 4, also another Lilo. Okay, so I'm not going to need this for a long time. I totally didn't see the color of the card. If I wait long enough, the replay on the YouTube here will show me. But I'll probably know their colors before. Ah, they played blue and they played another blue. I just saw them side by side. Oh, they're rampant. They are rampant. This is great news for us. Yeah, we're gonna go bodyguard in case they're running red and they got some kind of rush ability, just in case. I could see that. Ruby Amethyst is very if this game has a control deck, that's the one. The only thing I don't like about it is when you go against aggro, if you can't take care of them, if you can't, like, you have to get to turn 7 for a board wipe. And if they're already on 17, 18 lore, you are going to have a heck of a time stabilizing. All right, I'm looking into possibly my turn 4 being Rapunzel here. I really do love a turn 3 Cusco. This is a very strong play. Oh, you found the Ruby Steel video. Nice. Yeah, Ruby Steel is pretty good. Did you which Ruby Steel? There's 2 Ruby Steels. I got Ruby Steel Wheel, and I got the original Ruby Steel designed to take out Evasive. Okay, so we're not going to get any moves out of Rapunzel. I'm actually going to dip a Rapunzel here. I will play you as a bodyguard. Protect Cusco. Ha! Fool! You weren't expecting me to rebuild so easily! And with no effort! Green blue, baby! I'll take it. That's fine. I still think I play Simba, right? Or do I go for the Mad Hatter? I think I go Simba and I keep up my Lilo pressure. Tried a Sapphire Amethyst version of the Tamatoa Aerial item deck. I played around with that for a long time in the deck building process, and I just could not come up with a deck that I liked. They all just felt like garbage to me. which was really unfortunate because it feels like such a good combination. Man, our opponent in with just all of the removal. It's funny, the green-blue deck, I sat on that for a long time too because I couldn't come up with a list I liked. And now it's cool to see that there are some decent lists coming out. Man, they're getting exactly what they need. Either they're holding on to it really wisely or they're getting exactly what they need. That John Silver off the top is brutal. All right, I'm going to play out the hand. Hopefully we don't run into... There shouldn't be any board wipes in those colors. I must act. Oh, it's a must act. That's really cool. All right, so I guess I have to attack Hades. It's fine. I'll get a draw card off of him in a moment when they go to kill him. Trying to work on that aerial combo. Man, our opponent's just getting everything they need. Holy crap. That John Silver is obnoxious as all get out. Man. I won't even bother. That John Silver was clutch for them. Holy crap. That is the perfect tech card against us. Well, this isn't showing very well. I was pretty much undefeated all morning with games lasting 2 to 3 minutes. That's the thing with this. I've also noticed that there's obviously there's different people on throughout the day. So like in the morning, it's a different, set of people playing in the afternoon, a different set of people playing in the evening. So some of my decks will be absolute rock stars in the morning and total trash at night. It's a lot of expensive cards. I do not want any of these expensive cards. This is the worst thing you could do is give up your entire hand. But I am rewarded for it, and I get to go first. Show the green. Show the amber. Pass. Trying to get work with amber, Kyle? Man, that's good luck. There's not a lot of support for items in amber. Not sure we hold on to this, if I'm being honest. Again, we'll do Simba and Bodyguard in case they're going to have a rush character. Can't think of any 2-drops, but there might be. Currently trying to tweak an Amber Ruby deck. Oh, the ketchup and mustard. Maui and a Rapunzel. Yeah, I bet that's really fun. I have the worst luck with Rapunzels. Even in games where I'm like, oh, I can attack and I can get the damage to draw the card. I have just the worst luck. Man, I gotta ink one of these too, but I want to play both of them. I think double Simba is better. Can't afford to miss an ink here. People hate it when I use the character they gave Reckless to sing instead. Yeah, that's the upside with singing. You can get around the Reckless effect. John Silver is one of the rare cases where it says you have to attack with it. Some of the other Reckless cards are... No, who was it? There's another card out there. It's not Reckless. It's just that they can't quest. There's a bunch of cards out there that say you can't quest. And people confuse that for the Reckless. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me guess, that's a sing-song? That is a sing-song. I don't want a sing-song. So let's see. Rafiki takes out Simba. Simba takes out Lilo. It's all a trade, or they flip flop and it's still all a trade. See, they're in purple and yellow. Do you guys call it yellow or do you call it orange? The client calls it orange. That's freaking yellow. That's yellow. That is not orange. All right, we're just gonna go for the quests. I drew my cards already. Yeah, must attack if able to. Yeah, that's reckless. Must attack if able to. There's a bunch of cards out there though that it's the other way around. I was mixing up my words. Oh, they say you can't quest. They don't say you have reckless. Like Mother Gothel, for example. Can't quest. Interesting. Why didn't they just have Rafiki? Huh. I missed something there? Yeah, I think my opponent just misplayed. I don't think I missed anything. If I just play Cusco? I got Simbas. I could go get a Simba back. I could just play Cusco. Again, Lilo will trade with either one. Won't trade with Maximus, though. Maximus just takes it out. This is tough. Perhaps now's the time to hold on for just a second. If I quest, I could get Rafiki and Maximus just takes out Rapunzel, and then Simba's a trade with Lilo, or they could have Maximus just take out Lilo, and then they still lose Simba. These two could. So it's a combination of attacks. Or effectively, I lose both my creatures, and they only lose Simba. If I quest. If I quest, I go to 12, then I go to 15, then I go 18. I'm still many turns away. All right, I'm going to pass on this one. Now they can exert my character to attack it. So now we quest. We really don't have a way around it. If I can get something inkable, I could play Hades into a Simba. That will help. Something inkable, I said. Something inkable! Did that look inkable to you? No. All right. Because of the Elsa, we can't play super defensively anymore. Hades will likely trade with the Elsa if given the opportunity. I'm going to get as many points in as I can, but I'm expecting my opponent to throw a lot at me. They may even use Elsa to tap the other Lilo. I should not have played Lilo. I didn't even think about that. Because I knew I was going to quest with these because of the Elsa. Yeah, I should not have played the other Lilo. That was a mistake. Let's see. Elsa taps down Lilo. Stitch takes it out. Maximus takes one out. They don't got enough to wipe the whole board. Well, just in time doesn't really do anything here. I mean, it does now. No, I get what you're saying. No. I'm horribly out of focus. Hold on. Stupid camera. I have to literally change it off the camera and then change it back to the camera. So stupid. No, I get. You're right. I could have just in time played the Hades for free, got the Simba. You're right. there's a misplay for sure right there. Ooh. Do I go big on the board or do I attack their hand? Force them into top deck mode? If I quest with both of these, I go to 18. And then they still have Elsa. They can still force us to tap. I have to take out I can't take out Elsa because of Simba. They force one thing to tap. Oh, this is brutal. Sing with Hades. I got nothing to sing. I have no songs. I have no songs. Yeah, it's a misplay. I understand it now. I should have just in time into this Hades, grabbing this Simba, playing the Simba. I didn't even see it. I'm just thinking, yeah, we go up to 18 right now. I want to play multiple stuff here, but then my opponent just taps him down. I guess we go get Cusco back. That could be the game-winning move right there. Cusco's going to survive. Can't be targeted. Can't play it this turn, but... Alright, I'm going to force my opponent to burn all of their resources. Do I put you in bodyguard mode? I think I'm going to put you in bodyguard mode. I'm going to count on... Never mind! I was going to count on Cusco winning the game, but I guess they knew I got Cusco back. Okay. Lucky. Getting Cusco back was the game-winning move right there. They knew they couldn't deal with it. I keep almost ending the stream because I'm so used to when a game's over, hitting the stop record button. That's the other thing I try to keep in mind too. What are plays I can make that makes my opponent want to give up? Those are really hard to think about. But yeah, grabbing the Cusco there with the Hades, that's what made my opponent give up. I didn't even consider that as like an option of something to look for as like a strategy play. Don't end stream. I know, it was almost really bad. Oh, I got the just in time. Perhaps I keep the Cusco. I have no curve here. That's my turn 3. That's my turn 4. So you're probably going to get inked, but I got no low plays. Going first. This is going to be brutal. Oh, I got no plays. I have no plays. This is an aggro deck that's not being aggro. It's a quick way to lose with this particular deck. I keep getting paired against removal colors. Then again, probably everyone's playing removal colors. Except for me. We're going to see a Simba? Of course we are. My opponent will always have it. That's such a bad opening for us. And it's against Steel Song. What a bad opening against Steel Song. That's gonna cost us for sure. Gonna go for Tink here because they can't interact with it. really have no way of being aggressive here. Can't take out Simba. Can't attack their Lilo because of Simba. Freaking Lilo into Simba is so freaking strong. So hard to combat. This questing, for me, it feels like yeah, my opponent's got it. Let's just let him have it kind of play. It's a feel bad. Like, I don't want to do that, but I also know if I don't quest and play for a longer game, I'm likely going to lose that as well because our opening was so weak. This is one of those games where it's just like, yeah, you just go for the concede right away. I'm almost at the point where, like, going second is so bad in this game. I know we went first, but we had a horrible opener. But going, can't believe they gave up their Lilo. Going second in this game is so bad. It's almost worth just an auto concede. Your games are faster. Like 9 out of 10 games where I go second, I lose the game. So it's basically not worth my time to play those particular games. Jasper's pretty good. Hans just dies to Prince Eric. Man, Steel is so good. I like Steel a lot. But it's really only good aggressive decks. As soon as you go against control, as soon as you run Steel, it feels like you always play against control. And I'm not racing them right now. Probably should have quested, but we'll see. Our opponent's going to be filled with a ton of removal on Steel. Still have the Tinkerbells. Tinkerbell's probably my favorite card in the whole game right now. Big Tink. Giant Fairy. I will take that. Let's draw some cards. I think we're just questing. Especially going to quest with Hans. I know Prince Eric can take it out, but by the same token, they just draw Smash. So I didn't quest and then they removed him. However, this way gives them the option to trade Prince Eric instead of using a Smash, in which case they could use it on a Tinkerbell. So, it's kind of a flip-flop. We'll see. What do you think they could do to make going second not as bad? What if the first player wasn't allowed to mulligan, or maybe player 2 starts with 1 ink or something? I don't know, honestly. That's the issue that Magic has. Magic is widely known that going second is a definitive disadvantage. Like, it's been widely known for a long time that going second is bad. But what do you do? I think the biggest solution is best of 3 because, I go first this game. And if you win because you went first because you do have the advantage, guess what? You go second next game. This game would be interesting to do a best of 3 and actually have a sideboard. Because then you're like, oh crap, I'm going against Steel Song. Well, that's okay. There's a couple of other cards I didn't include in the main board because they only work against this deck. When you guys go to tournaments, since we don't have tournaments, do they play best of 3? I've been curious about that, if they do best of 3 and this client's just kind of set up for a best of 1 situation. See, I don't mind losing Lilo on turn 1. I mean, because you expect Lilo to pretty much die right away unless you have the Simba. My opponent's on +10, I'm on +2. Great. There goes another game. I could take out one thing. That one thing has to be worth at least 5 points. Oh, that's ridiculous. Your locals do best of 3? I think best of 3 is the way to do it. That's the only way to really suss out the going second being really bad. I mean, you're kind of right. Sideboard is built into your deck. I don't build my decks that way, though. I want every card to be valuable as much as possible in every circumstance. And I might give up cards that, well, you know, like, I'm not going to have any examples for you, unfortunately, off the top of my head. But yeah, I definitely would. There's some cards where I'm like, I'm not going to include that. Like, the red card, the apple. It's really great against princesses, right? It banishes them. I wouldn't include that in my main deck. I know that the Ruby Amethyst has been including it lately, but if I came across, you know, if I was playing a game and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a bunch of princesses, I'm going to bring in that stupid apple that I would otherwise never ever play. So there's definitely sideboards. Plus, we're still only 1 set deep. Don't forget that. I don't know what their, how their deck building is going to work. With Magic, it ranges between 4 sets and 8 sets will be in standard at all times. Once they reach 8 sets and that 9th set will come out, it drops down to 4. You're on 4 sets now. Like, it just rotates. Or 5 sets. One of the two. But it's always between 4 and 8 sets. So is this one going to be, you know, oh, we're 20 sets into it and it's all still legal? Or are we going to have a standard? Or is there going to be an actual standard with rotation? In which case, yeah, you're going to get a lot of extra cards, and then sideboarding all of a sudden might be a real thing because you have hundreds of options instead of, you know, what's every color got right now? There's 6 colors into 204 cards. Yeah. So not a ton of options. But, guys, I think that's going to do it for the live stream today. We didn't do super well, but also I work like 6 days a week typically, so I also never get to play the afternoon crowd. So this is kind of a first experience for me to go against the afternoon crowd. Funny enough, they feel pretty competitive on a, you know, it's a school day, it's a work week. What the heck are they all doing home? Huh? So these are all the losers that stay home and play Lorcana like me. All right. That's going to do it. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's video, guys. It does stupid well. It's really strong in the morning crowd. And when I say morning crowd, I get up at 7, I make my video at 7:20, and it goes for about an hour where I'm recording. Sometimes an hour and a half, depending if I want to start a little earlier. That's the morning crowd between 7 and 8:30, because I have to get my kid to school at 8:30. It does stupid well. It's a really potent deck in the morning crowd. But that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.